What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpolia sitting on the couch, making some money investing in fractional real estate online, as usual. By the time this video comes out, it will be Friday, so it's time for this week's installment of the 52-week challenge. This is when I tell you what fractional real estate I bought this week. As a reminder, just because I buy it doesn't mean that you should. You want to be doing your own due diligence. Before I get into what I actually bought this week, I wanted to give you two quick reminders. If you're watching this before 10 a.m. Central Time on October 3rd, I wanted to let you know there's going to be this live, just like we've been doing the Fractional Fridays every other Friday on Mark's channel, the Financial Firefighter. Tomorrow we're going to have someone on who is pretty popular in the school community. It's Dion. He's going to hopefully be a little skeptical of our fractional real estate investing. We've talked to a lot of people that are in the space that are doing different, either investing or creating platforms or whatnot. But I wanted to have someone who is a little bit more old school real estate investor, who might poke some holes in the strategy that we haven't thought of yet. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. I also wanted to remind you, as of right now, there's less than 17 hours left until the arrived secondary market for this next session, this next group of properties goes live. Obviously trading doesn't start until next week, but you'll have time to actually dig in or start to place those trades, but they won't start matching until Monday. But you can already get in there, see what properties are available, start doing your research, just like we talked about a few days ago, and figure out, which ones you're going to try to jump into and at what prices. All right, so that's all the reminders out of the way. I guess before I forget, please like and subscribe. In the description to this video, I have links to all the places where I currently invest in fractional real estate online. Just feel free to use those links, but do your own due diligence. Just because I'm investing in fractional real estate on particular platforms or specific properties doesn't mean that you should. You want to just dig into those yourself. Also, in the description to this video, there's a link to the Discord I have set up. There's a whole bunch of us that are talking fractional real estate on a regular basis. About any platform we've heard me mention on here, there's probably somebody invested in it. We're always looking for new ones too. So feel free to join that group. Jump in any conversations, and just trying to build a community around fractional real estate investing. All right, so what did I buy this week? If you've been watching my channel at all, you know that I continually buy tokens in 714 Rabin Ave. This is on Lofty that I'm buying it. I'm actually looking at this in my Lofty Assist account. I just find it easier to pull up all the properties on here and whatnot that I'm using. I'm working on getting up to 15% of this one. I just wanted to pick one property that I thought had good potential, was strongly undervalued. If you search this address, I did in YouTube, I did a video, specifically my thoughts on this one. More than anything, it's just a value play. I think that it's the token price doesn't match up with what this property is worth in real life. I also have some thoughts of maybe just trying to buy this property from the Dow and using the equity that I've built up as part of my down payment. Whether or not that actually happens, I don't know, but I think there's multiple exit strategies. And it is just one that I've decided I'm just going to accumulate a maximum stake in it. I've just been going slow because I keep moving the price up by buying, and so I buy it up a little bit, wait till it to come down. My average token price is in the mid 18s. And then with, plus fees, it's really around $20. I think there's a lot of room to do well on it with that. There is currently a tenant in here that needs to be evicted, that hasn't been paying. For me, that's the yield is temporary, basis is forever, right? So I don't care what the situation is today. Of course I care what it's going to cost to fix it. But really getting that deep, deep discount is what I'm looking for. Speaking of deep discounts, I've also been buying Winkler, again in St. Louis, another single-family home. This one, I believe we already have a vote to sell it in the real world. It hasn't been listed yet, but it should be any day now. There are a number of known problems with this property. but the tokens are so cheap. I mean, my average buy is below $10 per token. So I continue to pick up some of these. If you've watched this channel much before, you know I've bought and sold these tokens quite a bit. I was able to buy them in the single digits numerous times, and when the price would pop, I'd sell them again. This time the prices just stayed pretty low, so I've decided to accumulate a little bit more tokens, and hopefully, realize that value when there's a real world sale. Also bought tokens in 445 Lipford Street in Memphis. This is another one that's listed for sale in real life. There seems to be a lot of room to make money. We haven't had a lot of action yet, so we're going to have to lower the price. But even at a lower price, based on my price point that I've gotten into this one, I feel pretty confident that it'll make a good profit. So you'll notice, picked up a lot of stuff on Lofty this week. My general opinion of Lofty hasn't changed, right? I did the video probably about a month ago now about, okay, I'm going to liquidate my Lofty portfolio. After that, I did a follow-up video that talked about some of the things that they've changed that were some of my bigger concerns and worries on the platform. So I was glad to see they made some changes. I'm not all in on Lofty yet. Everything that I've bought has been from, that's not completely true. Almost everything I bought has been from sales of other tokens. When something got really cheap, and I think it was Winkler, I did put a little bit of new money back on the platform, but I have been slowly taking money off. So I'm still I'm still net taking money off. I have a big sale of the Odom property where I'll probably take about a third of the capital I have on the platform. I'll probably take it off when that sale goes through. So it's, just because you see me buying a lot of different tokens on here doesn't mean that I've changed my take on it, that I'm bullish on this platform. This is still the only strategy I really like on here is, buying cheap tokens to sell in real life. That being said, I did pick up a couple more tokens in Ridgetop Ave. This is one that has just been a very consistent performer for me. It's also one that I have token staked, and it's been my best payout on staked tokens as well. It's run by a co-owner who I have a lot of faith in. He's done a good job on this one. This is Ario. He's done well on this one and a few others. He has worried me a little bit with his proposal to want to have us take over the payment of the mortgage on Solana, something, the 7-unit multifamily or 8-unit multifamily one that he has, or mixed use. Just some of the discussion around that has made me worry that, like, oh, is he having a hard time servicing all this debt? Because that's part of where the good yield on this one's coming from as well. So he is in the process of trying to refinance this property, but I wouldn't be buying this at 50, even though I believe I bought my first ones at like 48. But the starting price right now is at 40. So a little bit of a discount, but also it has just been a very consistent yielder. So this is one of the very few exceptions that I have, and it's one that I bought tokens quite a while back. I've added a few, and so anytime there's a real good dip, I think I bought a couple of these in the 30s when I just the ones that I bought this week. So again, this is, I think, the most extreme backpedal that I have. Right, all these other ones is money that I am reinvesting in Lofty, but I'm just expecting those properties to leave the platform through a real world sale. And so, which is what I think the lowest risk strategy is on that platform, right? I worry about the long-term viability, and the real, the return on frustration of dealing with a lot of the things that go on that platform. But I think that when you can make these, so far with my purchase and sales of properties like this, I've averaged a 27% return on my exits. In none of those have been a full year that I've invested. So that, it's a really annualized, it's even better. Once Odom is cashed out, I'm going to have to reevaluate that. I'm not even sure if I broke even or if I either made a little tiny bit or I lost a little bit, but somewhere around even on that one. And because I had so much cash in it, that's going to hurt my average quite a bit. Learned a lot of lessons on that. I talked about those in the past, where I was just too big of a buyer in that one. So I was supporting the price kind of on my own for a little while. I think I might have been the only one buying it. I should have just let it sink a little more before buying too much. And then they froze trading when there were some really good, at the end when there was really good deals. As soon as it was under contract, they froze the trading, which they had never done before and we didn't have any warning about. Stuff like that is, that's right up there on the list of things that bug me, right? Like if they're going to do things like that, they should let us know ahead of time. Because I thought, as soon as it gets under contract, I'm going to buy a little bit more. It was at a good price. So that's what I had been waiting on. Apparently they don't want you to do that. I don't know. I don't know why not, because some people still might want to get out before it actually sells after it's under contract, right? I mean, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation of why somebody would still want liquidity in that moment. So why not let us continue to trade? It's, just another example of them making sort of these arbitrary decisions that, it is their platform, right? But it's part of what makes me nervous to continue to invest on here, is because you just never know when there is going to be some rule change that you didn't expect, and that just applies to you immediately. So anyway, that's everything that I bought on Lofty this week. I also only picked up one LRO on Ground Floor. Oh, this is weird. Their user interface is just has been way buggier since they did the update, at least on my computer. I don't know why it's not showing you anything right now. Oh, yeah, let me just wait. Let's see if we get there. I didn't buy anything on. If it comes up while I'm talking, that's fine. If not, I'll just let you know. It was just one LRO. I had more payoffs than new purchases this week, so I'm starting to lose a little bit of the diversification that I'm really going for on there. All right, let's just exit that. See if we can start over and get in there. I don't know what the answer is going to be. Yep, okay, good. Looks good. I have no idea why that happened. But yeah, you can see I have a little bit of cash accumulated again because I've had more payoffs, and I'm just putting the same amount in every single one. I'm just putting $50 in every one, looking for maximum diversification. If I can get up to 150 to somewhere between 150 and 200 loans and consistently have that large portfolio like that, that's the point where I'll start upping what I'm putting into each one and start adding money back onto this platform again. I did a couple videos about why I started taking money off of here. Just wasn't working well for the strategy that I'm using on the platform. I think you really just have to have for what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to maximize my diversification. And, when I have more payoff, when you have more payoffs than you have new opportunities to buy, it kind of becomes a problem, right? Because I don't want to have idle cash on the platform. There's also been a noticeable decrease in some of the rates on some loans too. And so I shut my my auto investor off because I want to make sure that it's not just dumping money into ones that are paying like a real low rate. So far, haven't really seen it on the LROs, but some of their other products, the rates have gone down. And so I'm just being, having an abundance of caution, trying to make sure, I don't have an issue there. Let's see. So yeah, that's everything that I bought. I didn't buy anything on Saul's Lot. They didn't have anything new. I didn't buy anything on Mogul. I did several videos of properties that had came out recently. The only one of the ones that I have, I bought the Swift is the last one I bought some of. I'm still on the fence about if I'm going to buy Alcaraz. It's such a big raise that I just have time. And so no matter what, I'm not going to buy it until we're closer to closing anyway. And then depending on how much is left, I might even wait and see how that first month turns out. Like, you can do that on some of these where they have these very large raises that have gone a little bit slower. That's everything I bought. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the Discord. Please feel free to share what you bought in the comments to this video. Share in the Discord. I know some of you have been doing that. I know a lot of you just like to send me DMs and talk about it. I'm very happy to do that as well. I think the more we can just talk about all these different deals as a community, though, the better equipped that we're going to be, to One, when there are issues on platforms that we need to tackle as a group, we'll already have those common goals and some familiarity, and to be able to do that. And we've kind of seen how that has worked out well on some of the lofty deals, but also too in just how we've approached some of the other platforms and gotten really good results from several of us making the same comments to some of the platform owners. So I appreciate everybody that's involved in that. Please keep that up. I am going to try to get back to doing these every single day if possible. I've complained about my health stuff enough, I think, on this channel, but that's just what's I just haven't been working nearly as much as I had been for a while. So once I get back on track with that, be planning on putting these regularly. So as I mentioned in the beginning, though, if you're watching this before 10 a.m. Central Time, Friday, October the 3rd, make sure you jump into that live stream and feel free to ask some questions on there, or if you catch it after the fact, that's okay as well. Anyway, until next time, I'm just going to keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.